Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight. A former president, EDGAR LUNGU'S son, arrested for money laundering activities. Given Lubinda refuses to take plea in court. Kanyama residents demand for new roads before onset of the rains. In international news, oil spill from Shell pipeline fouls farms and the river in Nigeria. And in sports news, coach LAMECK BANDA leaves MUZA FC.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again, the news now in detail. Residents of Kanyama constituency have demanded new roads ahead of the 2023-2024 rainy season using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. Speaking to Camnet News, one of the residents, Samson Kaputula, explains that most of the roads become impassable during the rainy season, forcing most shops along the roads to close. Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Kanyama Member of Parliament Monty Chinkuli has urged community members to submit their concerns on the roads to their ward councillors so that they can be earmarked for construction. More in this report.
For developing countries like Zambia, the need to have good roads cannot be overemphasized, as these play a key role in connecting citizens to markets, schools, and health institutions, among other key facilities. This, however, is the state of many roads not only in Lusaka, but most parts of the country during the rain season. Some residents of Kanyama constituency in Lusaka have therefore demanded good roads ahead of the next rain season using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. The residents say there is no need to wait until the end of the year when roads become impassable before promises to work on them are made.
Mwaona hapa business road. Tingafuna kuti batifakira kwa ngo tamaki. Ndawa futi road, futi mamvula ikabwera futi next year. Ya mneno ye this year. Ni matika eka ponsa pa mangala matipa. And then mabasi yakati atamange ni ma speed. Ma speed matika yonse abwera futi kuma slippers. So tipe mpako MP wakazionekera mwantina voterera. Wakaoneke wakachifakira ko tamaki ndiye antipe mpako
ndiye main way so ifurike ndiye futi enda na clinic futi ndiye tiendera na eve mu town vetinga pempeko inze tima votera abantu wakazikira konzero ngati avotera ndafya apa still banaika gravel mvula ikayamba futi kuzangala matika nangoenda mu town uchitoka ngiwo and then bakaika apa so gravel ye banaika ni semsemu ni nano adeni bantu igravel banatsira sibana kemo maampu tinambo sipangira teka maampu bana kubungiwa nikunkala ke afuma bus driver yakuroba kaba mashita bwanji bakatamangisa motoka pa especially ngabatamangira ma line yao kumankala sivabwini
munen season maroda mangala ko but sokufuna kuti ba cancer na MP ba pakanzero bai koza bwino before the time yoti afika.
Meanwhile, Kanyama Member of Parliament Monte Chinkuli says a number of roads are being gravelled under the CDF. He has advised affected residents to submit the names of the roads they would like to be worked on to the area councillors.
Those that would want to know the exact road, let them visit a councillor's office through the WDCs. For us to work on a particular, road or come up with any project, it emanates from through the zonal leaders to the WDC, who recommends it to my office. As we don't waste time, we give what the people want.
The community members have called for all roads that will be constructed to be tarred, stating that gravelling them is not enough as they will soon be dilapidated. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Institute of Policy Research and Analysis, ZIPA, has urged the United Party for National Development, UPND, administration to exercise financial discipline now that Zambia's creditors have given the country a chance to restructure its debt. Addressing the media on the recently restructured debt of $6.3 billion with Zambia's official bilateral creditors Monday, 26 June 2023, ZIPA Executive Director Henrik Mpuku says there is a need for the current administration to invest in productive sectors such as agriculture, mining and manufacturing while ensuring that they do not borrow unnecessarily. Dr. Mpuku has also called for the quick signing of the Memorandum of Understanding to seal the deal, stating that any further delays may shake investor confidence and disturb the public mood of citizens. More in this report.
More stakeholders have continued to analyze Zambia's debt restructuring deal to the tune of $6.3 billion United States dollars with the country's official bilateral creditors under the G20 Common Framework on Debt Restructuring. Under the agreement, official creditors have agreed to extend their maturities to the year 2043 and lower interest rates until 2037. Giving its take on the development during a press briefing Monday, the Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA, through its executive director Henrik Mpuku, says this will give the current administration more resources to spend on social and economic sectors, beginning with the 2024 national budget.
It will effectively unlock fiscal space required to stimulate the economy and place it on a new and more sustainable growth path. Most importantly, Zambia should focus most of the freed resources on financing the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan, particularly the economic transformation and job creation strategic development areas. This area significantly underperformed in 2022, the first year of the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. ZIPA's assessment of the 2022 Annual Performance Review of the 8th NDP showed that targeted economic sectors like mining, manufacturing, agriculture and tourism underperformed, partly due to inherent inefficiencies and distortions, and thus were in need of reform, but also due to inadequate funding, especially as regards infrastructure development.
Dr. Mpuku has, however, warned that the current situation should not cause the current administration to relax, stating that many countries whose debt was restructured have fallen back into a bad economic situation as they did not exercise caution.
We haven't reached the end. It's not as if things are going to turn around overnight. Rather, this program, what it does is to set the country on a pedestal and a trajectory for resolving the problems and moving to sustained economic growth. Contingent, I repeat, contingent upon the pursuit of prudent macroeconomic and other policies. These policies will ensure short-term stability and the basis for long-term growth.
Meanwhile, ZIPA Senior Research Fellow Zali Chikuba has also added a word.
Now, there will be an assessment at a later point in time to see how Zambia will have progressed, utilize the resources that have been freed to grow its economy. Should you be found that now you are able to carry a little bit more debt, there is a calculation again that they have made, a computation that they have made, that at that time they will be able to move the interest rate up, but they have put a ceiling that, well, even if they adjust it upward, it will not exceed that particular ceiling to give you a relief. It will not be the way it was previously, where it was just left open.
The institution says there is now need to ensure that investors who made pledges pull through, while stating that the Zambian government should quickly sign a memorandum of understanding with its creditors to make the deal official. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Levi Mwanawasa Medical University Academic Secretary Brown Mbewe says students should take advantage of available cooperative funding under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) to earn a living for themselves in order to avoid being used as political tools. In an interview, Mr. Mbewe says students have in the past been allowing themselves to be used by politicians during campaigns to discredit certain political parties, all in exchange for money. He has, however, advised them to also consider forming cooperatives and earn a sustainable living for themselves.
In terms of political use of students, I feel these people are tools, they are the future leaders of Zambia. So if they are being used for political violence, actually, you are just training a society which is going to become very deadly in the future. Politics should stay away from the student populace. So what we would want students to do, we have an advantage now. We have CDF available. We have other ways which are available, which actually students can build their lives. They can start businesses than being involved into cadalism and so on, which actually at the end of the day, it will destroy their lives.
The Secondary School Teachers Union of Zambia, SESTUS, has advised all schools across the country to re-embrace the observance of all COVID-19 preventive measures to avoid schools being closed due to the disease. Speaking to Camnet News, SESTUS General Secretary Sitibekiso Wamuyua says the union has noted with dismay the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the country, which brings to mind the school closures the country had to face in the past due to this. He has further appealed to the donor community to come on board and offer support to the education sector through providing necessary items such as face masks and hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Health indicates that as of Sunday, 25th June 2023, the country has recorded a total number of 133 new cases and currently has 1,526 active cases.
A few years ago, schools closed for a long time and we lost a lot of learning time, and it was not easy to adjust the school calendar. So what we need to do for now is to take extra precautions, extra preventive measures to ensure that we do not allow the situation to reach a level where the Ministry of Health might be forced to advise the Ministry of Education or other institutions to stop operating. That would be very, very unfortunate. So what we need to do, all of us, is to ensure that we comply with the guidelines that are constantly given by health personnel, health professionals, so that we can protect ourselves and protect our colleagues. And in this regard, we ourselves as teachers, we have also to comply, our pupils have to comply, the parents, the guardians have to comply to ensure that everyone is safe. It affects the economy, it affects the health of the people, and it must be prevented. I know in our situation as a sector, especially when you look at our schools, even in rural areas or urban areas, we have a lot of needs. And probably this is the time when those with the resources can come on board and make those donations. Maybe you realize your school within your community, they lack face masks, hand sanitizers. There's no harm to make such a donation so that those facilities that are not available, the tools that are not available, can be made available to those lacking communities.
Former Ministry of Defense Permanent Secretary Stadi Mwale has pleaded not guilty for corrupt acquisition of public funds. Mr. Mwale is jointly charged with 4 others for failing to comply with the law when awarding a contract. Others who are jointly charged with Mr. Mwale are Isabel Chinji, an accountant at the Ministry of Green Economy, Michael Mbewe, Brigadier General Evaristo Sakala, Brigadier General Frank Sinyangwe, and Dr. John Perry. In the first count, the 5 are accused of willful failure to follow tender procedure when they awarded a contract for modernization of defense forces to LUNGU'S Systems Limited without bid evaluation. While in the other count, Mr. Mwale, during his tenure as PS, allegedly facilitated and made payments amounting to $50 million to LUNGU'S Systems Limited for goods and services not supplied or not rendered in full, namely medical evacuation facility on the Gulfstream G650ER jet and upgrading the said presidential jet from a single-mission passenger business to multi-mission aircraft. The matter has since been adjourned to the 17th of August for commencement of trial. The opposition Patriotic Front Vice President Given Lubinda has refused to take plea in a matter he is accused of failing to appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges and Absences. Mr. Lubinda has argued through his lawyer that he ought to be discharged because the court has no jurisdiction to listen to a matter whose time frame to prosecute has elapsed. Meanwhile, speaking shortly after his court appearance, Mr. Lubinda charges that the ruling UPND has continued to frustrate PF members with arrests and prosecutions because they are a standing bomb. Mr. Lubinda predicts that the PF soon will live under difficult circumstances because of the growing club of those who are being arrested and prosecuted by the state. More in the following report.
The opposition Patriotic Front has predicted that it is soon to face and live under difficult circumstances following a growing club of those who are being arrested and prosecuted by the state. They accuse the government of frustrating them with several arrests as a means of blocking them from criticizing it.
You may only be a ward chairman, but for as long as you are identified as a strong member of the Patriotic Front, you should know that you are a potential member of the growing club of members of the Patriotic Front who are being arrested, who are being brought to court every day. The club is growing, and I'm happy that I am a member of that club. So all of you members of the Patriotic Front, be ready. But also I'd like to just encourage you. The reason why you're being brought to police stations, to courts, is because the UPND government know that if they let you free, you are dynamic. You are a standing bomb. They want to frustrate you so that they can have a free reign over Zambia.
The party, however, reiterates its position of supporting each other.
One of the resolutions we made here is that after my case has been handled, all of us will go now to Woodlands Police. Because, like I'm saying, every day there will be somebody who's being arrested. Now, as we speak, Dali Solungu is being charged at Woodlands Police.
He is arrested.
So we are going there now to go and give him support. Wherever you hear of any member of the PF who has been arrested, please make sure you inform us quickly. We are going to stand for each other and make sure we defend each other.
Earlier, the 60-year-old Patriotic Front Vice President Given Lubinda refused to take plea before the Lusaka Magistrate Court in a matter he is accused of failing to appear before the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges and Absence. Mr. Lubinda told Magistrate Trevor Kasanda through his lawyers that he must be discharged because the court has no jurisdiction to listen to a matter whose time frame to prosecute it has elapsed. To support his argument, Mr. Lubinda cited Section 219 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
Requires that a matter that Honorable Lubinda was appearing before court is tried within a period of 1 year. You remember this offense is said to have been committed in December 2021, and the matter is way beyond 1 year. So I think that was the gist of the submission, that the court, from the operation of the law, had no jurisdiction even to try this matter. We'll hear how the state will respond tomorrow and how then the court will rule on this matter.
The state has slapped Mr. Lubinda with one count of failure to appear before the committee or assembly, contrary to Section 11A of the National Assembly Act, Powers and Privileges, Chapter 12 of the Laws of Zambia as read with Amendment Act No. 13 of 2016 of the Laws of Zambia. It is alleged that Mr. Lubinda between December 18, 2021 and June 14, 2022 in Lusaka, being a person summoned by the Committee on Privileges and Absence of the Zambia National Assembly, did fail to appear before the National Assembly when summoned to do so without reasonable cause. The state has requested for more time to respond to his application before the court can render its ruling. The matter comes up on the 27th of June 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Police have arrested former President Edgar Lungu's son, Daliso Lungu, and his wife, Matilda Milinga, for alleged possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed the arrest of Daliso Lungu and his wife, who are directors of a private firm, Saloid Traders Limited.
Police have arrested and charged Daliso Lungu, age 36, a businessman of plot number 75 Kanakantapa in Chongwe, and Matilda Likando Milinga, age 36, the wife of Daliso Lungu, of house number 4 Berere Road in Olympia, both directors of a company known as Saloid Traders Limited, for the offense of possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, contrary to Section 71 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act number 19 of 2010. Brief facts of the matter are that the company owns 48 house motor vehicles, all valued at 23,258,405 kwacha, and fixed assets valued at 12,825,100 kwacha, suspected with proceeds of crime. Further, Daliso Lungu, as an individual, has been arrested and charged for the offense of possession of property suspected with proceeds of crime, under Section 71 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act number 19 of 2010, in relation to the possession of 21 motor vehicles, all valued at 1,522,549 kwacha 76 ngwe, and fixed assets valued at 31,500,17,300 kwacha, all registered in his names. Daliso Lungu has also been arrested and charged for the offense of money laundering under the Prohibition and Prevention of Money Laundering Amendment Act number 44 of 2010. It is alleged that Daliso Lungu did also launder money amounting to 23,981,966 kwacha 45 ngwe, which he was depositing into the Saloid Traders Limited account domiciled at Zambia National Commercial Bank, Cairo Business Center in Lusaka. This occurred between 17th September 2017 and 24th January 2022 in Lusaka. The duo have since been released on police bond and will appear in court soon.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take our first break. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you were born for greatness. See you there.
Welcome back. We'll continue with Camnet Television main news. The Zambia Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation, ZCSIF, has charged that there is need for government to strengthen the country's security profile in the quest to improve internet connectivity. Foundation President John Sisenki says government should probe the coming of internet providers such as Starlink in order not to compromise the security of the nation. Mr. Sisenki worries that while increased internet connectivity is key, it is a threat to the country's security profile. Here's a report.
Zambia continues to make significant strides in ensuring improved and affordable internet connectivity. One driving force behind Zambia's stride is the widespread adoption of mobile technology. With mobile phone penetration surpassing 80% in recent years, more Zambians are gaining access to the internet through their handheld devices. With increasing mobile network providers expanding connectivity, Zambia Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation has challenged the government to ensure that security of the country is not compromised.
Protection also must also be considered so that we don't really risk, losing information. I think maybe giving access to our information, unknowingly to the service provider like Starlink. So data protection also must be considered. I think it's a very important aspect of it. The government must look into it, making sure that the data of the people in Zambia is not compromised or traded for the fast internet that Starlink is bringing also on board. And also the security of the country in terms of digital security is very important, because Starlink must at least increase their awareness on security-related matters. At least increase awareness and messages alerts to the people that will be subscribing to the internet, to make sure that at least the number of scammers that is going to be rising, which is expected to come with Starlink coming on board, is not going to impact negatively so the people subscribe to their service. Because once that happens, if they leave us vulnerable and fail to manage the service they'll be giving us, it's going to really cause a lot of harm and good to the subscribers.
He argues that the country's security profile should be highly prioritized.
Government should first, before they bring them on board completely, to also question them. How is the security of their services? What have they put in place to secure their subscribers? And what they promise the Zambians, so that tomorrow we are not going to fail to contact them to complain about the services or the scammers that are going to be rising because of their services that is going to come on board. That's very important. So the government must be involved, the sector must be involved, and also stakeholders must be also involved. The government should desist from making decisions, solo decisions that are not involving other stakeholders. So before Starlink comes, the government should hold meetings with stakeholders to question and get submissions from stakeholders on what they want to expect in terms of security and speed and everything, data protection, when Starlink is coming in on board in this country. Then I think we can now give Starlink a copy of the strategy and submissions of our stakeholders in terms of what Zambians expect from Starlink.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Ministry of Health has contracted 8 local companies to construct 15 maternity wings in eastern and southern provinces. Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo says the construction of maternity wings, mothers' shelters, staff houses, outpatient departments and installing water reticulation systems will help in improving the delivery of healthcare services. Ms. Masebo is confident that once the projects are completed, cases of maternal mortality will reduce. Here's a report. We continue with the news. Citizens, Environment and Social Concerns SESCO Executive Director Conwell Hakapia has challenged government to make sure that extended producer responsibility regulation is revised in order to effectively manage plastic pollution. On the 31st of May 2023, Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu disclosed that they have embarked on a robust process of reviewing the legal framework, which includes, among others, policies, acts and strategies. And the minister also underscored that plastic pollution is a problem that needs urgent attention and that extended producer responsibility regulation will be revised to make it more responsive towards the plastic problem. And Mr. Hakapia has challenged the government to make sure that plastic manufacturers pay for their waste. Here's a report.
More than 400 million tons of plastic are produced globally, and an estimated 19 to 23 million tons end up in lakes, rivers, and seas. However, less than 10% of the world's annual plastic production is recycled. Growing population and urbanization are driving an increase in single-use plastic, thus heightening environmental pollution and health threats. In 2019, the Zambian government announced a ban on the use of plastic carrier bags and other plastic-related materials below 30 microns in thickness. This followed the signing into law of the Environmental Management Regulation Statutory Instrument number 65 of 2018. But addressing the plastic problem has remained a challenge, and Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu assured to revise the law.
That we are going to revise these pieces of legislation to ensure that the producer themselves take responsibility, to also ensure that the users, us, the plastics are thrown by us. And that's why I emphasized so much more on the advocacy and communication strategy. How do we carry our people along?
Citizens, Environmental and Social Concerns SESCO Executive Director Conwell Hakapia urges the government to speed up the process of revising the extended producer responsibility regulation.
Not committed to ending plastic pollution as a country. If we were committed to ending plastic pollution as a country, we would have taken measures that are not rhetoric, measures that are serious, and measures that show results. These measures that we have taken to try and mitigate plastic pollution in our country are all rhetoric, hence we have not seen any tangible results. And our cities, our compounds, our CBD will continue to be dirty, our drainages and waterways will continue to be clogged because of the lack of seriousness and commitment to end plastic pollution in our country. We have an SI, the famous SI number 65 of 2018, that is in our own view, it's a cake, okay, and it's toothless. Hence, people manufacture, produce, and distribute plastic that is not meeting the same threshold, or that is 30 microns. Of
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Miles Sampa has asked the Lusaka High Court to enter judgment on administration against his party members Given Lubinda and Nixon Chilangwa. In a case he has sued the Registrar of Societies, seeking an order that his party's failure to hold the extraordinary convention breaches his rights under the party and Republican Constitution. Mr. Sampa says Mr. Lubinda and Mr. Chilangwa have admitted to some of the claims he has so far made before court. This is in a matter Mr. Sampa, who is also a Material Area Member of Parliament, wants the court to order that the General Conference be held not later than 30 days after the court renders judgment in the lawsuit. More in this report.
Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Miles Sampa has insisted that he is entitled to the relief of an order that the provisions of Article 53(2) of the PF Constitution are now unvoid as they are imperative and contradict the provision of Article 53(1) of the PF Constitution. Mr. Sampa since requested the Lusaka High Court to enter judgment on admission on the basis that the defendant has admitted to some of the submissions he filed before court. This is in a case in which Mr. Sampa has sued the Registrar of Societies, seeking an order that his party's failure to hold the extraordinary convention breaches his right under the party and the Republican Constitution. Mr. Sampa, who is also Material Area Member of Parliament, wants the court to order that the General Conference be held not later than 30 days after the court renders its judgment in the lawsuit. Mr. Sampa cited the Registrar of Societies and the Attorney General as respondent and wants the party to elect its president and 25 members of the Central Committee in line with its constitution. He is also seeking an order that the PF's failure to hold an extraordinary convention initially scheduled for the end of last year and moving it to earlier this year abrogates his constitutional rights under the party. He further seeks an order that the extraordinary conference be conducted at a venue which is easily accessible to all members, and such venue must be in Lusaka or Kawe to avoid unnecessary cost. He also wants to be granted an order that the Registrar of Societies' failure to intervene in the abrogation of the PF Constitution is a failure of duty. Mr. Sampa has also pleaded with the High Court that if it orders the judgment on admission be entered against the first and second defendant following their admission in their defense, the court's time will be saved. Recently, the Patriotic Front announced that it was going to hold its extraordinary general conference on the 28th of October 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua says the increase in the uptake of illicit drugs among juveniles in the province needs urgent intervention from all concerned stakeholders, failure to which it will lead to a population of delinquent youths. Speaking during the commemoration of the 2023 International Day Against Drug Abuse at Kampekete Secondary School in Chisamba Monday, Mr. Nanjua says current statistics on the abuse of drugs in the province are worrying. Statistics from the Drug Enforcement Commission (DEC) indicate that the Commission has between January and May 2023 arrested more than 20 juveniles on drug-related charges.
I wish to state from the onset that the problems of drug trafficking and drug abuse are no longer limited to small sections of a given society, and neither are they confined to the street. The problem is widespread, affecting homes, workplaces, education institutions and churches, and has not spared any age group and class. It is therefore important that all stakeholders, the parents, church leaders, teachers and young people do partner with the government to address the scourge. It is disheartening to note that despite government efforts and comprehensive programs against harmful substances, young people in our society continue to engage in drug abuse and trafficking.
We'll take a second and final break. We have international sports news after the break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The FARS 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
Welcome back. And now in international news, the new oil spill at a Shell facility in Nigeria has contaminated farmland and the river, upending livelihoods in the fishing and farming communities in part of the delta, the Niger Delta, which has long endured environmental pollution caused by the oil industry. We have more in international news.
A new oil spill at a Shell facility in Nigeria has contaminated farmland and a river, upending livelihoods in the fishing and farming communities in part of the Niger Delta, which has long endured environmental pollution caused by the oil industry.
Over 300 fishermen are impacted on that particular spill. So it's a massive spill that has impacted the people. People have come in. Shell, I think they have accepted responsibility for it from what I'm now hearing. And currently, from what I heard, they have clamped the speed point. But the impact can go away for the next 1 year. Cannot go away for the next 1 year. It's massive.
It is one of the worst in the last 16 years in Ogoliland, according to an environmental activist whose non-profit monitors spills in the Delta region.
Comparing that kind of spill with what we have had in Ogoni before, I think well over 15, 16 years that we had that kind of spill before. That was the kind of spill that happened sometimes, in the mid-2000s in the border area that led to the payment of massive compensation by Shell. That is the kind of spill that can be likened to what we currently have on ground. It's so massive. It's so massive.
Africa's largest economy overwhelmingly depends on the Niger Delta's oil resources for its earnings, but pollution from the production has denied residents access to clean water, hot farming and fishing, and heightened the risk of violence.
For years, the paramilitary group Wagner has been considered Moscow's armed wing abroad, notably in Syria and several African countries. This status is now being called into question by the halted rebellion led by its leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin. At the end of a spectacular mutiny that took him less than 400 kilometers from Moscow, Prigozhin has now gone into exile in Belarus, leaving the world in doubt about his next moves, including those about Wagner's operations in Africa. This map shows the likely and proven presence of Wagner troops in Africa. Forces from the group play an increasingly central role in long-running internal conflicts in Mali, where they were even accused of committing the Mura massacre, where the UN claims at least 500 people were killed. The vast majority summarily executed during a 5-day operation. The government in Mali and Russia denied the allegations. Elsewhere, Wagner has a strong presence in the Central African Republic, CAR, Libya, Sudan, all of which have a tenuous relationship with the West due to colonial legacies. On Saturday, the Kremlin hinted at the dissolution of the group after it announced that fighters who had not taken part in the mutiny would sign contracts with the Defense Ministry. But what about the group's 5,000 troops stationed in Africa? For now, with little or no information yet, it remains to be seen what Russia will do with the Wagner group's presence in Africa.
Fighting is still raging on in Sudan between the country's military and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group following the end of Wednesday's 3-day ceasefire. The truce had brought relative calm to Sudan's capital Khartoum since it took effect, but fierce fighting was reported starting Tuesday night in parts of the Sudanese capital Khartoum. I believe that the clashes should continue without any truce to shorten the war. People left their homes and places, and I hope that people will return again to their homes in the near future. As fighting rages in Sudan, hundreds of Sudanese arrived in Chad while more than 1,550,000 have fled Darfur, heading to Chad since mid-April, according to the International Organization for Migration, IOM.
It's now time for sports news. Now, sports news tonight, Zambian Super League side FC MUZA has part ways with head coach LAMECK BANDA following a successful 2022-2023 season. LAMECK BANDA was appointed FC MUZA coach in August 2022 and led the club through a historic 2022-2023 season. During his tenure, BANDA led FC MUZA to impressive performances that saw the club finish in second place in the Super League and automatically qualifying for their maiden CAF Confederations Cup. BANDA also led the Mazabuka outfit to the ABSA Cup final where they lost to Forest Rangers. MUZA also picked notable victories over formidable Super League opponents such as Zesco United, Zanaco FC, Forest Rangers, Nkana and Green Eagles. MUZA will be representing Zambia in the CAF Confederation Cup in the 2023-2024 season, and this will be the club's maiden appearance in Africa's elite club tournament. The club management could, however, deny nor confirm the development. The club, through its Facebook page, urged players, fans, supporters and stakeholders to remain calm. To end Camnet television news, the top stories once again. Former President Edgar Lungu's son arrested for money laundering activities. Given Lubinda refuses to take plea in court, Kanyama residents demand for new roads before onset of the rains. In international news, oil spill from Shell pipeline fouls farms and the river in Nigeria. And in sports news, coach LAMECK BANDA leaves FC MUZA. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Leviticus 19, verse 18. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Thank you for watching Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.